How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about who is more important to the success of the Laker team between Dennis Schroder and Montrezl Harrell. They were the two highest profile pickups for the team and will each be very important for the team in their quest to win another championship. But the question remains, who is more important? Immediately after they were both brought into the team, I would guarantee most people would have said Dennis Schroder, but after the team let both Dwight Howard and Javale Mcgee go, and with many people having recent concerns with Marc Gasol, Montrezl Harrell may have an argument to being one of the most important players on the entire team, as he is one of the few big men on their team. We'll go over what each player brings to the team individually and how that may impact the team going forward, and then decide who may be more important to the team overall. And we'll begin with Montrezl Harrell. Although he was used primarily at center with the Clippers last year, it doesn't look like that will be his primary position with the Lakers. They've been using him a lot more at his more natural position of power forward alongside Anthony Davis, and I think that will be very beneficial for him moving forward. Even though he has a very impressive wingspan that allows him to do well on players much larger than he is, he still shouldn't be expected to have to defend players around 7 feet tall regularly, and when he gets to be on the floor with Anthony Davis, he doesn't have to. Utilizing Harrell in this way was one of the few primary reasons why I agree with the team deciding to bring him onto the team. They can utilize all of his strengths while being able to hide his weaknesses. He is a great rebounder, and when paired with AD, they can really do a lot of damage on the rebound battle together. In the team's first game of the year, Montrezl Harrell had 4 offensive rebounds alone. That easily led the team, and although a lot of that is attributed to his relentless playstyle, it is also helped by the fact that Anthony Davis often pulls away the opposing team's big man away from the rim. AD plays on the perimeter quite often, and that helps open up the lane for easier offensive rebound opportunities. And I think the perfect player on the team to take advantage of that is Montrezl Harrell. I believe Frank Vogel would be smart to continue to put Montrezl Harrell on the floor with AD as much as possible. Harrell looked good with 2 players in particular, Anthony Davis and Dennis Schroder. Any player will often look pretty good with LeBron, so I don't really need to mention him, but Harrell did take advantage of the attention that both AD and Schroder draw. Along with getting easier rebound opportunities from AD being in the game, he also showed good chemistry with Schroder in pick and rolls. As predicted, they work very well together, and Schroder's playmaking ability helps Montrezl Harrell to get easy opportunities at the rim off of screens. He isn't as great of a lob target as Dwight Howard or JaVale McGee, but Harrell does do a great job at setting a hard screen and then diving to the rim afterward with good timing. Another thing I think we need to mention about Harrell is his potential as a playmaker. He obviously isn't a primary ball handler or someone you want to run an offense through, but he does do a good job at finding players cutting to the rim. He made a really nice pass to Kyle Kuzma in particular during Game 1 that caught my eye. He does a good job at looking where everyone is on the floor before attacking the rim or getting rid of the ball. Again, he isn't an outstanding playmaker, but I think he'll continue to do well in lineups with guys like Schroder, Kuzma, and Caruso who are good at diving to the rim off the ball. But now moving on to looking at Dennis Schroder, who had a really good game against the Clippers on opening night and was one of the few overall bright spots for the team. You could tell that the team didn't have a lot of chemistry yet, but Schroder was able to play through that and still have a good individual game. He ended up with a near triple-double and was one of the few players on the team who could really get anything going. But apart from what he did on opening night, he has the potential to continue to help the team in a lot of areas. With Rondo gone, Schroder will need to fulfill his role and be expected to do even more than that too. He will be looked at to be the secondary playmaker for the team after LeBron and will be expected to average around 15 to 20 points a game. And I think he kind of raised his individual expectations from fans when he openly said that he wanted to be part of the starting lineup. He'll need to regularly play at a high level and be able to play off the ball more when playing with LeBron and AD. And if he can do that effectively by hitting his catch and shoot opportunities at a high rate and being able to affect the game without the ball in his hands all the time, he'll add a whole lot to the team. And although his role as a secondary ball handler and an off-ball player at times will be very important, his role when he does have the ball in his hands will be even more important. If the team really does try and decrease LeBron's minutes this year, then Schroder will have an even bigger role than expected. He is one of the few guys on the team other than LeBron who can run a pick and roll and create his own shot. And we know how effective he can be in that role, as he was one of the best in the league at being a kind of change of pace player with Chris Paul on the Thunder. He isn't a guy that will be double teamed or focused on by the defense because he'll be on the floor with LeBron or AD at the same time pretty often, and because of that, he'd be looked at to take pressure off of them due to not being the focal point of the opposing team. Again, he thrived in that role last year, and he'll need to do it again to be able to help take this team to a high level. His scoring and playmaking is really important in creating easier opportunities for everyone else on the team, especially LeBron and AD. His kind of talent is what they were missing at times last year, and if he can fit on this Laker team like he did on the Thunder last year eventually, then he'll be extremely important to their chances of repeating as champions. The final thing that is really important to talk about with Schroder is his ability to defend at a high level. He really is taking the place of both Rondo and Avery Bradley from last year's team. He'll of course be looked at to be the secondary playmaker like Rondo, which we've already talked about, but he'll also need to defend at a high level like Avery Bradley did for them in the starting lineup. Bradley's ability to defend and be a pest for opposing guards was key to helping form the team's defensive identity. They won't be able to get back to that level of team defense without Schroder being a good defender for them, and he's definitely capable of developing into that kind of role for them, as he did show signs of being a very good on-ball defender for the Thunder. And while I don't think he'll necessarily need to be on the level of Avery Bradley as a defender, but they really do need him to shut down opposing point guards at times for them. With their rim protection not being what it was last year anymore, having their first line of defense being elite is even more important now than it was last year. If they continually let opposing guards get to the rim at will, then Gasol and AD may often get into foul trouble. It won't happen overnight, but if Schroder and Caldwell Pope can prove capable of defending the perimeter at a high level eventually, then that is when this team will become very dangerous, because I have very little doubt of this team's ability on offense. It's more so for me about developing chemistry and an identity on defense. Overall, both Schroder and Montrezl Harrell will be very important to the ability of this Laker team to compete at a championship level again. However, I think because of all the roles that Schroder will be looked at to play and take over from last year's team, he'll be a bit more important to the team being able to compete at a championship level again. Filling the role of both Rondo and Avery Bradley won't be easy, and one that Schroder probably won't figure out perfectly for a while yet, but if he does, while being able to provide more offense than either of Rondo or Bradley did, that is when this team will really start to click. The health and high level play of LeBron and AD will of course be of the utmost importance, but after that, I really think the play of Dennis Schroder is right up next. He's really that important to the team in my opinion. But what do you guys think? Who is the more important player to this team? Is it Dennis Schroder or Montrezl Harrell? I could honestly see an argument for either player, but because of everything we talked about in this video, I really believe it is Schroder. But let me know what you think by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you to everyone who took the time to watch till the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please remember to drop a like and to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.